We're live, live, live. We're hi. How you doing? We're live. How's it going, you guys? Welcome to the show. Friday, May the 18th, 2018. How are you? It's Bruce here, traveling with Bruce, your host, jovial host. How is it? How's it going out there? It's the end of the week. Yay! For those folks who are working, I'm working. Yeah. What a day of weather here in Creston. Yesterday we got dumped on rain big time. Oh my goodness, we got rain, rain, rain. Today, partly cloudy, and it just turned kind of sunny-ish because we have a break in the clouds sort of happening. I hope that's a trend and it's going that direction. We're only at 64 degrees today for our high at the moment, but quite windy out right now, and that kind of tells me something's brewing, and something's bad coming. Something bad's coming. It's not like clearing out to be beautiful skies. I think it's another system, but who knows? Right now, it looks sunny, but it isn't calm out there. It's unsettled. But what can I say? I got some news just a few minutes ago, about half an hour ago, from one of my from one of our followers, from Pete Heckema. He's on here all the time. He got his coffee mugs today in the mail. Traveling with Bruce coffee mugs. I thought I'd show you guys. He sent me a photo. There we go. Hope that looks okay to you guys, that photo. There's one in the round logo, and there's one with the wave and the steering wheel. And way to go, Peter Heckema. I'm glad you got them. He loves them. He said they came in just fantastic. They look great, and I am pleased about that. Whenever you guys get your stuff, let me know. How is it turning out? Are you happy with the look? And yeah, we're good. That they made their way to Tarpon Springs, Florida, to Peter's house, and Peter's bought a few items from my channel, and I thank him very much. Great supporter, and I love it. What else was I going to tell you guys? Oh, subs. Yeah, more subs. 1,981 we're at now. We've added 9 more since yesterday. 19 away from 2,000. We're just inching along here. I call these the dog days for the channel. A lot of you folks have taken your winter cruises, your spring cruises. Now it's summer, fall, and we're all gearing up for fall cruising and winter cruising, and things will kind of pick up again. But every day, another 5, 7, 9, 10 subs are coming through. Maybe over the weekend we'll hit 2,000. We'll see how this goes. Fantastic! Thank you everybody for joining in, welcoming me to your YouTube community, and becoming a subscriber of this channel. If you would like to become a subscriber to this channel, it's so easy. There's a button there. It's on all the time. There's a button here. That's a subscribe button, and if you click on that, there's one right beside it too. It's called a bell notification icon. Looks like a little bell. Click on that. You'll be notified every time I do a new video, and I get these emails whenever someone new subscribes. I'll get an email saying so-and-so has subscribed to your channel and will be notified of all future postings on your channel. That tells me that someone clicked the bell notification icon. Great. Another alert will be sent every time I announce a new live stream or a video that I'll have just created on the spot, or something's happening out at sea or with a cruise ship that demands immediate attention. I'll just go on the air right away. I'll just start talking on live YouTube without any fanfare whatsoever. I'll just start going, and you'll get a notification icon. Whoa, Bruce is on the air live right now. He's on the air. I should check him out, and then you can come on over and see what I'm talking about, see what's going on, what's happening. So that can happen, not every day, but you never know. Sometimes I just want to talk about my big ass RV. I got this big ass RV I've talked about before. I've even posted a picture of me beside my big ass RV, and I've had a lot of reaction from you folks about my big ass RV, and there might just come a time where I kind of feel like talking about it a little bit more, and I'll be more than happy to post some more photos of the of the beautiful big ass RV. Here's one right here. I had someone take a photo of me, and I said to them, go across the street and take a picture of me with my big ass RV, but make sure you don't get run over. So I'm like anyone else, a responsible citizen, look both ways before the photographer crosses the street, and so and then of course when you take a photo of your pride and joy big ass RV, you can't just stand there looking like an out of shape guy, so you got to tuck it in, right? You got to pull in the waistline. So here I am, just this is a big inhale here, just suck it in there. Don't let the viewing public know how big that gut really is, because I'm kind of one biscuit short of Speaking of biscuits, just saying. Yeah, so that, every once in a while, we give it the old thumbs ups, right by our big ass RVAs. So, if you hit that bell notification icon, you're going to be right on there, right on the cutting edge of the news. You're not going to miss anything. And, it's a good thing to do that. You're going to be on top of the world events. There's enough nonsense going on, bad news going on out there. Sometimes you need good news. And if I'm going to talk about big SRV, you should be in on it. And I wouldn't want you to miss out. So yeah, if you hit that bell notification icon, that would be a great idea. And if you're already a subscriber, you can do that now, and just nail that, and you'll be updated all the time. I guess the only other thing that's new this past week, my new merchandise started to post on the channel, and some of you folks have started ordering some of my new items, which is fantastic. I got more in the works. More kind of under construction, and hopefully we'll just keep adding more logos and more items all the time, and kind of go from there. And then what else was I going to mention today? Nothing new in the YouTube world as far as anything goes with this channel. Those of you who are regulars, those of you who follow me occasionally, kind of come in every once in a while to say hi. Just so you know, I am not monetized. I am curious though. I'm kind of hoping, maybe a few folks who have channels pop in and say hi to me. I would love that. I'd love to ask them how they are doing on their side of the monetization situation. Have they had any news, updates, whatever? Love to hear that. So if any YouTubers are out there coming by to say hello, please pop in, say hi. I did get a couple of greetings yesterday, folks. You folks who saw my show yesterday, either live or after the show. You'll know that yesterday I talked about other YouTube channels. I was asking you guys, tell me some of your favorite YouTube channels, which ones you like to watch, and why, and all that. And we had a great response, just a great response. A whole bunch of you came in, and even after hours, I had a few more comments come through. Anyway, I got shout outs from a couple of YouTubers who heard about it. They said, "Oh, you mentioned me." So I think they may have gone and watched my show and say, "What did he say? What did he say?" And they sent me a couple of them sent me a message saying, "Thanks so much for giving us a shout out on your channel. We watch you as well, and all the best to you." And I'd love to do some collaboration videos with some of these guys. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think there's strength in numbers. I think if 5 or 10 YouTubers can regularly interact with each other that are covering, kind of the same thing in a way. I mean, I have my angle for the cruise lines, and others have their angle for the cruise lines. We all have our way of presenting the info, whatever we want to talk about with cruising. But I think if we occasionally kind of cross the streams and collaborate a little bit, you'll bring a little bit of a viewpoint in from one angle and another angle into the kind of a middle. And sometimes the two presenters learn something they didn't know. The viewers learn definitely something they may never have known or ever thought to have known. And the 2 channels, the 4 channels, the 6 channels, whatever number of channels kind of collaborate together over time. They just grow. They just go faster, because if you take you take one channel with 2,000 views a day, another one with 1,500, 3,000, 5,000, add them all up, and you start letting everyone in those channels know that there are people out there who love to talk about cruises and cruise shipping and everything else. You're going to get a lot of folks who are going to start becoming subscribers of multiple channels in this realm. And as the big boat just rises, we just all rise together. We all just get more exposure between each other's channels and further reach, and more subscribers and more viewers, and we become larger channels. And that's just a good thing. And the growth rate hopefully gets even faster. Someone just sent me $5 on the super chat. Who did that? Jim Thomas again. Jim, thank you again so much for your help, your support. There it is right there. That's an easy hot dog and a chicken bake. I think we're going Sunday to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. For those of you folks who don't know, I live in Creston, British Columbia. All my regulars know this. 3 miles north of the U.S. border, and my closest Costco is 2 hours and 15 minutes away by car in Coeur d'Alene. The closest Canadian Costco by car, it's kind of a tie. I think it's Calgary, Alberta, which is 5.5 hours, and or Kelowna, which is the interior of British Columbia, and that might be 6 hours, might be even a little longer. And with the flooding, excuse me, with the spring flooding that British Columbia is suffering through, I think it could be quite a bit longer in the interior. Thankfully, from here down to Coeur d'Alene doesn't seem to be a big problem with regard to flooding so far this year. Cross our fingers, and we're good to go. So there you have it. If you've never watched before and you're on live with me right now, just say hi. Type in and say, tell me, where are you watching me from? Where are you? What state, what town? What's your high temperature going to be today? You have any questions about the channel or about cruising, comments about the channel? Fire away. Love interacting. Everyone here loves interacting with everybody. You'll find that if you come here often, you'll note that it's kind of like a family atmosphere. We all we get to know each other a little bit. Some of us have certain traits that we know kind of come to the fore. It's all in good fun. We have a good time here. And I welcome each and every one of you to my channel. Let's see who's here. I want to say hi to everybody. And then I'll talk to you about my topic of the day. And the topic was, how much money do you spend when you go on shore on a cruise? Tell me about the most money you ever spent. Tell me about the dumbest shore excursion you ever took. You didn't intend it to be stupid or expensive, but it turned out to be expensive and not worth your time. It was a disaster on every level. Or tell me the opposite. Tell me a shore excursion that you were taking and you didn't have didn't have high hopes for it. But you were like blown away. It overachieved. It over-delivered. Tell me about a shore excursion that either you did with maybe other passengers or friends, where you guys made your own shore excursion for the day and it turned out to be fantastic, or not. And how much did it run you? Because I've got some statistics here a little later in the show that I wanted to share with you guys. And I want to compare notes with some of the dollars we're talking about with some of the dollars that the experts are talking about. I want to compare notes, see if there's any reality here, because I know what you folks are telling me is real. What I'm seeing over here, I'm not so sure it's real. So we'll get to that. Let's say hi to everybody right now. Pamela Jordan was the first to sign in today and say hi to me. Hi, Bruce and everyone. Partly sunny and 80 degrees Fahrenheit in Iva, South Carolina. That's nice weather today. Pamela, you deserve that kind of weather. You haven't had nice, decent weather lately. It's been off and on for you. I think you had some rain there. So welcome to the show. She signed in at 4:32 Eastern time. So well done. Welcome aboard. Peter Heckema, my man who just got his coffee mugs today. Hi, Bruce. Rain this morning in Tarpon Springs, Florida. Then it cleared up like nothing had happened. There was nothing going on here. Nothing to see here. Beautiful this afternoon, 86 degrees and lots of sun. And traveling with Bruce coffee mugs arrived today. Really nice. Fantastic. I'm just so glad to hear this. I love it when I hear news like this. Kathy Butler, hi, y'all. Hot and humid in Orlando. Yuck. That is the weather now and going to be for a while. Hot and humid today in Orlando. Auntie Jane 11 is here. Good morning, everyone. Saturday morning here. This is in New Zealand. Cool. 18 degrees Celsius for our high today. May light a fire while chatting today. 18 Celsius would be about, mid-60s, around 66 or something like that. Auntie Jane, welcome to the show. It's Saturday morning, so you're not at work. You're at home. It's early Saturday morning, and you're watching with us. That's great. Nice to have you by here. This is fantastic. She's going, yay! Nina Frank is here from Sweden. There's the other side of the planet. Hi, everybody. Hope you're all fine. The weather changes. Cloudy and sunny, differs all day, back and forth, back and forth. So Nina's in Sweden. Auntie Jane is in New Zealand. That's got to be polar, complete opposite. And we're in the middle here in North America. The wonder of the internet. It's incredible. I love it. Kathy Butler, yet another day of morning here in the USA, chatting with everyone about a getaway. Will be a welcome cheer up. Absolutely. Just another tragic day down in the US, in Texas. Tracy Dunlap, hi everyone. Overcast most of the day here in Naples, Florida, but now sun is out and 87 degrees in Naples. Fantastic. Oh my goodness, Lillian Mendez just sent me $50 Canadian through PayPal. I just saw the message flash on my little phone there. I get these little like alerts whenever an email comes through. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. It'll probably be verified here in the corner of my screen in just a second. Not that you folks will see it, but there it is. Boom. From Lillian Mendez from 50 Canadian dollars. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Who are you? Are you a regular watcher of my show? Are you, do you have a handle that I know here, but I don't know there? I don't know. Thank you very much. That's fantastic. This is great. I'm almost speechless. Who was I going to say? Thomas Henry. That was the next message. Nasty, rainy, everything flooding, roads washed out in Richmond, Virginia today. Oh man, that's the kind of weather that was going on in the Carolinas and down further south. So it's just been heading north. It's probably coming up that, you know, the, what would that be? Sort of the southeast, and it comes all the way along, you know, and just heads all the way up towards New York or Boston, or, you know, tails off into the ocean. It just goes way up. Unbelievable weather. That's crazy, Thomas. Crazy. Stay indoors. Stay dry. Stay safe, please. Lisa Moore, hi all. I'm back from my trip from Carnival Elation. Lisa, you gotta talk to us. How was it? Wasn't that your first cruise? I think this was your first cruise. How did it go for you? Did you like it? What was the best part? What was the worst part? How about the food? How about the drinks? Do you have good weather? Tell us what you can, please. Scott Batchley, hi everybody. Beautiful day here in Ventura, 66 degrees. Cal Wilson, how was it, Lisa? He wants to know. He's also saying, I'm going on the Sensation, Carnival Sensation in June. So he wants to know how this one was. Cam Wilson, by the way, hey everybody, Cam Wilson saying, Nina Frank, Bruce, nice shirt and perfect color for you, looking very smart. That blue color, you like me in the blue and the white. I know, you know, women from Sweden, you know, they know fashion. I think so. Auntie Jane, hola Cam, Kathy Butler and all, Lisa, commiserations, laugh out loud. Triple X. Lisa Moore, the entertainment starts in the evening around 4:30, so kind of slow during the morning, and the food needs more seasoning. But other than that, it was good. Right on, Lisa. You know, I've never had anyone on this channel like when we have tips. You know, like what kind of tips would you give new cruisers or existing cruisers? No one has ever said bring your own spices. You know. I wonder though if anyone does. I wonder if there are travelers out there who pack, you know, miniature little, you know, cayenne pepper and paprika and garlic salt, little contain, and then when they get to the buffet, they kind of sprinkle their food, you know, little. They look around. I wonder if anyone does that. I've not heard of it, but could be spicier. Maybe there's a way to take care of that. I don't know. Got me spitting up here. I'm all excited now. Cal Wilson, Ola, Auntie Jane, Paul Wilgus, hi Bruce and all. 69 and still raining here in Virginia. We had flash flooding, rock slides, and roads partially washed away. 4 more days of rain. They say unbelievable, Paul. It's not in certain parts of the country. It's calm and serene. Other parts of the country, it's spring runoff. It's spring storms. It's yikes. Now, if this was, what, 2 months ago, you'd be 2 feet of snow, wouldn't you? It would just be the opposite. It's just insane. Unreal, Paul. Unreal. Kathy Butler, hope you had an amazing time. Lisa Scott Batchley, same. Someday, Bruce, will get a better camera that isn't so technicolor. I don't know what that means for sure. Jim Thomas, hi all. 88 here in Anderson, California today. Welcome, Jim. How's your knee doing? How's physio? Is it coming around? I'm hoping for you there, buddy. Debbie Emmanuel is also here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Bruce. Sun and hot here in Northern California today. 88 to 90 today in Chico, California. Fantastic warm weather. Let's just no forest fires, okay? We don't want any forest fires this year. Kathy Butler, laugh out loud, Scott. Jay Sonic Hedgehog is here today. Hi, all. Hey there, Jay Sonic from Montreal. Jim Thomas, somehow I got to physical therapy 10 minutes. I got through 10 minutes, not happy. I'm going to miss the show. Oh, he's got to go to physical therapy in 10 minutes. He's going to miss the show, and he's not happy about it. And then he sends me $5 anyway. I tell you, you're godlike. Thank you so much. Hang in there, buddy. Fight through it and get the range of motion back. Build the strength and throw that damn cane or crutch or whatever you have to use away. And yeah, get moving. That's what we want. Keep working on it there, Jim, for sure. Wes Morrison, another hot day. 95 here, New Braunfels, just under 100. Wes, hundreds are coming. We know it. Kathy Butler, hi, Jay Sonic. Cam Wilson. Lisa, did the Elation have the Mongolian walk? He's wondering. Kathy Butler, Wes praying for Texas. Scott Batchley saw another channel where the Google doesn't want to watch, and he was being monetized at 3 cents per 1,000 views. Now, what does that mean? Scott Batchy saw another channel where the Google doesn't want to watch. What does that mean? And he was being monetized at 3 cents per 1,000 views. So there's a code there I'm not getting. What is it you mean, Scott? If you can somehow clarify that. J-Sonic, Bruce, there's this hotel in Ogunquit, Maine, that my dad and I, that has yummy donuts for breakfast. Ooh, donuts, those are dangerous, aren't they? Donuts for breakfast. Oh my gosh. Mind you, here in Canada, we've got Tim Hortons donuts, the big chain. Of course, Jay Sonic knows all about Tim Hortons. For you Americans, some of you Americans do know about the Tim Hortons donut chain. A lot of you don't. There are more Tim Hortons in Canada than there are KFCs and McDonald's. That's how prolific Tim Hortons restaurants are. We generally use them as drive-throughs because they're like a favorite drive-through of a lot of Canadians on the way to work in the morning. Grab a couple of cups of coffee. But it used to be a donut house. Tim Hortons was originally just a donut house, and back in the 60s and 70s, 60s it started. Tim Horton, the hockey player for the one-time Toronto Maple Leafs and Buffalo Sabres, he died tragically in '74. Just towards the end of his hockey career. He's probably about 38 or 36 years old, something like that. Anyway, it became a large franchise. The Tim Hortons family sold most of the shares that they had in the company to a larger entity that then franchised it big time. And it grew out from Ontario near the Toronto area to over the country. Over 20 years, it grew out all across Canada. So Tim Hortons today is now started to move into the United States and other countries bit by bit by bit because we Canadians just love it to death. Well, anyway, they started with donuts. That's what Tim Hortons is known for. And then they started producing some better than average coffee. But that's a big debate in Canada. Half Canadians, but there's a certain segment of Canadians go, Tim Hortons coffee is crap. And other folks say, Tim Hortons coffee is delicious. Well, I don't think there is one universal brand that all of us agree on worldwide where we say, oh, yeah, that's great coffee. There just isn't one. And then again, of course, there's the argument between Coke and Pepsi. Who's got the best cola? And then there's RC Cola and all the other cola. So, I mean, it's the same thing. You never get one leader in the pack. But success is success. And Timmy's, with their donuts and their coffee, are incredibly successful. And so, yeah, a lot of Canadians will go to work in the morning, and once in a while they cheat. They'll say, I'll have a large double. That's a large coffee, double cream, double sugar, because the larges are big. You need more cream than just one shot of cream. You need two, or a triple. I'll get a double with a shot of Splenda. I don't use the sugar. I'll just go with Splenda. It's just fine with me. But sometimes you just break down and say, give me one of those honey curler donuts over there, or how about one of those honeydew donuts, or how about the Boston cream donut? That's the donut that's covered in chocolate with the custard sauce inside. Oh, that's so good. It's an energy boost. If you need a boost, get a Boston cream and a double. You're all wound up for an hour, just like a kid. Anyway, that's just me going up on Timmy's because Jay Sonic is talking about donuts for breakfast. Oh my goodness, Jay Sonic, you killed me. Seakeeper, hi Bruce and all. 86 Fahrenheit, sunny and a slight breeze in Tequila, Florida. Thumbs up, happy Costco trek. Thank you, sir. We're looking forward to it. We just got some gas money this morning from 2 viewers. This is awesome. I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much. Welcome back, Seakeeper. Of course, Auntie Jane 11, Elisa. Now you are home. Tell us more about your cruise, please. Did you have I think you would have had an inside room, wouldn't you? I think the ship only had inside or ocean view rooms, right? Were you in one of those two, or am I missing something? There might be some balconies. What kind of room did you have? How was your room? And how about your ports? Did you go to Bahamas? Is that where you went? I don't know if you went to Bermuda, but did you go to the Bahamas? Tell me about that. Jay Sonic, hi Kathy, and how are you? Scott Brody, hi Bruce and all. Sunny and windy, high of 20 degrees Celsius here in St. Thomas, Ontario. That's kind of nice. 53 days till a celebrity solstice cruise. Right on, 53 days and counting. It is coming fast, Scott. Awesome stuff. Randy Lucas, greetings, Bruce and Sunny. with a high of 80 here in Paradise, California. That's why they call it Paradise, California. Awesome, Randy. Say hi to Michelle for me as well. That is fantastic. Great weather. Kathy Butler, Jay Sonic, fighting a cold. Hope you're well. Iskew Park. Hi, Bruce. It's Iskew in Thunder Bay, Ontario. 12 Celsius. It's sunny. So a very nice day here, considering they were calling for very cold, damp weather. Cross your fingers. Keep that other crap away and warm it up. Yes, sir. I'm sure your snow is quickly disappearing. It's probably only in the shadows now, but maybe it's all gone. This is good. Wait, welcome back to spring, buddy. Jay Sonic, get well soon, Kathy. I am well. Thanks. Jay Sonic, by the way, 59 and partly cloudy in Montreal. Thomas Henry, Kathy, how about some meds? TH has meds. Thomas Henry has meds. I've been home all week with what was diagnosed today as an inner ear infection. Oh, man, that's a bummer. Oh, hang in there, Thomas. Fight through it. Hopefully you're over it and you're through the other side. Kathy Butler, oh, no, Thomas, ear infections are the worst. Randy Lucas, we spent an average of $50 or less in port, unless we do an excursion. There we go. There's one of the first numbers right there. Kathy Butler, we are a dedicated bunch, still here while feeling yucky. That's right. Even when we feel yucky, we watch Bruce to make ourselves feel better. And that no higher compliment than that can be paid to me. Thank you so much. Randy's doing executions in ports. Kathy's wondering what? Peter Heckema, we always book our excursions, not our executions, our excursions online before the cruise. Tickets for the onshore trips are usually in our cabin when we board the ship. Always had good experiences. Very good. We've got someone here. M1, make large, make milk. I'm trying to pronounce it as best I can. Make a large. Well, let's just say M1 is here. Hi, M1. Greetings from the Netherlands. Fantastic. Where in the Netherlands are you? Are you in like a little town we can't pronounce, or are you in a larger center? Welcome to the show. I'm sure you're a first timer. I'm pretty sure you haven't been here before. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Traveling with Bruce. Glad to have you. This is fantastic. Kathy Butler, I'm too chicken not to do an excursion to the port. I can't do that pier run if we were late. We don't want to be late. Sylvia's here. Hi, Bruce. 76 degrees and raining. Listening to you while working my second job, Greensboro, North Carolina. Back to cleaning. Oh my goodness. Sylvia, hang in there. Just pace yourself. Just don't overdo it. Right on. Charles Jordan, so much for the partly sunny here in Iowa, South Carolina. Thunderstorm is rolling in as I post this. Oh man, hopefully it'll just get right through town and keep going. Hopefully it'll be a short one there, Charles. Nina Frank, someone who know how's the food on Carnival Magic. Does someone know what the food is like on Carnival Magic? That is the question. Anybody been on Carnival Magic for the grub? Do they have a Guy Fieri's on there? I think they do. If they do have a Guy Fieri's, it should be pretty good. Somebody want to pipe in on that? Would be great. Scott Batchley, normal to pinkish to yellow on my end. Haha. Oh man. Thomas Henry, Peter, yes, I like the pre-order plan. Love having mail waiting in the cabin when I get there with my pre-booked cruise. Let's see. Most I've spent on an excursion was at Cozumel, Mexico. This is Iskew. Was a package to a private beach, Congo, Bongo, and a cab to all events. It was $250 for 3 of us. So about $83 each, transportation and all that. Yeah, maybe that's not, it's average, I suppose. I mean, not too high, not like cheap, but not too high. Wes Morrison, Kathy Butler, thanks. Mary T, we have a Tim Hortons in Staten Island, New York. Mary, how you doing? Welcome back to the show. I think you've been here before. You've got a Timmy in Staten Island. Yeah, the Timmies are starting to head south a little bit. Do you ever go to your Timmies? Have you ever been to it? Be curious. Is it any good if you have? Or do you know somebody who's been? Lisa Moore, we should all go on a cruise together and have a ball. That has been suggested before, and I am scheming something like that down the road. Just kind of, yeah. We'll as soon as I know, you'll know. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Thomas Henry, I would have loved to have done. I'd love to have done a helicopter excursion, I think, in St. Thomas last November, but not enough interest. The trip did not happen and was quite pricey. Yeah, that would be a pricey excursion. you got to get, you got to get a helicopter that can hold maybe 6 or 8 or 10 passengers, and then divvy up the deal. But it still might be rather pricey. But an interesting experience. I'm sure it would be rather interesting to have that. Scott Batcha, YouTube doesn't want viewers on this channel, so they set his monetization so low as to dissuade his productions. Nothing that is nasty or anything like that. Interesting. Okay. So that's an interesting comment. Lisa Moore, Grand Turk Stingray Exclusion or Excursion is great. We'll go again, and a lot to do with the port too. Interesting, right? Jay Sonny Hedgehog, the most donuts I had was 6 donuts, all in one sitting one morning. Laugh out loud. Oh yeah, you're all sugared up. Oh my, you're out of control. Don't let me in the room with you when that happens. Oh my God, Jay Sonic, it's out of control. Tracy Dunlap, Lillian Mendez is my wife. It's from our PayPal account. How wonderful. She listens with me at times. Congratulations, almost 200. Tracy Dunlap, Lillian Mendez, thank you guys so much. That is just wonderful. I appreciate the support wherever it comes from. That is fantastic. I've had quite a number of folks visit the store in the last couple of weeks and pick up items there. So there's support coming in from there. Few of you have gone to my Patreon page, and then there's those of you who send me a PayPal contribution or a super chat, and I appreciate it so much. It comes in handy, believe me, it really does. Lisa Moore, Ocean View went to the Dominican Republic. Okay, so you were on the ship, you had an Ocean View room, and you went to the Dominican Republic. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Lisa, for clearing that up. And Grand Turk Stingray Excursion is a great, and you will do that again. Okay, gotcha. We're talking about this first ever cruise for her. Fantastic. I think it was Lisa's first cruise. I'm pretty sure. Nina Frank, is the weather warm in the end of November, December in the Caribbean? Yes, it is warm in the Caribbean. It can be cool-ish in Bermuda because that's not the Caribbean. That's in the Atlantic, off the coast of the Carolinas. But head south to the Bahamas. You occasionally a bit of a cool front coming through there. You'll be in the 60s. But if you go into, say, a little south from there, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Grand Cayman, any Cuba stuff practically. St. Thomas, St. Martin, and there, Grenada, you'll be in real warm weather. Jamaica, warm weather, 80s, like high 70s, 80s, 90s, even in November, December. Very nice. A lot of Canadians know that. It's kind of, we're born with that knowledge because of our parents and grandparents. We've all headed down there so many times for a winter getaway. We're quite into that. And Tracy Dunlap, Randy, Execution, laugh out loud. She liked that. Richard C. Hello, Uncle Bruce. Hello, Uncle Richard. Seakeeper, we stayed 2 days in Maui with Norwegian Cruise Line. Then first day we hired a taxi driver for the day. Cost was $200. Money well spent, says. Very good. 2 days in Maui, and then you get a cab for the whole day to look around. Fantastic. That's an excursion. Wendy Thompson, hi, all. Bruce, Bruce, it's raining today. Sorry, Wendy. Stay indoors, stay warm. Jay Sonic, yeah, I'm really out of control when I'm in the room with free donuts. My dad pays for the hotel. Oh, and Randy Lucas, dang, autocorrect, that auto spell correct, dang that thing, you know. Scott Brody, we spent $900 US for our excursions for our Alaskan cruise. My goodness, Scott, where did you go? How did you end up spending that kind of money? That's amazing. Andy Jane, I only see 24 likes, people. 46 people watching. Smash that like button now, she's saying. Oh, Auntie Jane is looking for thumbs ups for this guy. Anybody who can spare me a thumbs up, thank you very much. I would appreciate it. Thank you all. Thomas Henry, Seakeeper, looks like my tablet. Always get M's instead of the space. Grrr, and it all becomes one long word. Mary T. Timmy's is good. This is the Timmy's in Staten Island. Timmy's is good, but after hearing about it for years from my Canada friends, I thought it was going to be amazing. But it's good. I don't know if we as Canadians have a lower expectation of greatness. I don't know. I think the thing for Canadians about Timmy's is that, like politics, everything is local. And if you live in Red Deer, Alberta, which is a city between Canada, Calgary and Edmonton here in Alberta, And it's a January morning at 6:30 in the morning, and you got to go to work. Whatever it is you do, that you got to be at the office by 7 or whatever it is. Just knowing that when you get to the Timmy's, they're open, and the lights are on, the coffee's hot, and the staff's in there, and they are working away. And through the drive-through, you can get your cup of Joe, or you can grab a bacon and egg on a bagel or on an English muffin, or whatever you want to take with you. Breakfast, of course. At lunchtime, you got the soup, sandwich and a soup, and you can also go inside Timmy's and sit down, just like a McDonald's, and sit down and eat in there if you want. I think we Canadians have used Timmy's when we need them the most, and so it's not uncommon where if you've got a relative in the hospital and you got to drive an hour and a half to get to the hospital to see them and they're in rough shape, you stop for some comfort food, and Tim Hortons is kind of Canada's comfort station. So you pull into the drive-through and you get your double or whatever size of coffee you want, and you're sipping in the car as you're rolling down the highway. And in the wintertime, the wind is blowing across the highway, and the snow, it's not snowing, but the snow is blowing from the field, the farmer's field, over to that farmer's field across the highway. So that first 6 inches of pavement, it's like a whiteout, it's like a blizzard down there, and your tires are rolling through this stuff, and you got this hot cup of coffee, and the heat's on in the car. You might be wearing gloves to keep the steering wheel from freezing your hands off, and that cup is warm. And that's what Canadians, I think, really appreciate about Tim Hortons. It's the Canadiana comfort station, but we also get a warm, fuzzy feeling when we see one in a neighborhood we're not used to. And so if we're in the States and we come across one in Cleveland or out west in Seattle or Staten Island, you see one, we kind of go, oh, we smile. We go, oh, there's a Timmy's. That's one of ours, because we call it one of ours. The irony of it all is that in the last 5 years, 10 years, maybe 15 years, it's been a while, there was a time where Timmy's was all Canadian owned. It was all Canadian run, Canadian management, everything. And then Wendy's, the burger chain of the United States, bought Tim Hortons. They bought control. And they took Wendy's public through a stock offering, and Tim Hortons was part of that company. And Wendy's started in Canada. It was not uncommon where you would go to a brand new Timmy's location, and it would be a combo location. It would be a Wendy's, Tim Hortons combo, one building. And you have the two drive-throughs. You got one side going this way, it's Timmy's. One side going that way, it's Wendy's. So in the morning, you go into work, you're stopping at Timmy's for a cup of coffee. And at lunchtime, you're driving through this drive-through to get a burger and fries from Wendy's. And in the evening, it's a toss-up, whatever you feel like having. And so Wendy's did that for a while. Then Wendy's took Timmy's and separated the company, made it its own public company, and listed it as a separate entity. And about 5 or 6 years ago, a Brazilian investment company that happens to own Burger King bought Tim Hortons. And now it's part of the Burger King franchise, which is just an amazing history of Timmy's. But the irony is that the Burger King company was in the United States. It moved its corporate headquarters to Ontario, in Toronto, Canada. I think Mississauga, just outside of Toronto, for the taxes. The taxes, lower corporate taxes in Canada for a mature company like that. And so they shifted right out of the US into Canada. And so now Burger King is a Canadian company, and Timmy's is owned by the Burger King, which the entire owner of that whole entity is Brazilian. So there's no simple story here. And lately, a lot of the franchise owners of Timmy's are unhappy with their Brazilian masters. And they don't like the management style. A lot of cutbacks in the management area, and apparently relations between franchisees and head office has been lacking. And so there's all kinds of issues there. But we Canadians, we're a forgiving bunch. We're easygoing. We like to be known as polite people, and it's good. It's not the greatest coffee in the world, but it's okay. And so that's the story of Timmy's. Little history lesson for you about Canada. A little up-to-date news there. What can I say? Wes Morrison, the best excursion I ever took was the St. Kitts Scenic Railway. My wife was using a walker, and a staff member went out of their way for her. The best part was that you could have all the rum you wanted. Oh, what a great train ride that would be. That's the kind of train ride you never want to end. Oh my goodness. Well, that's pretty good, Wes. That's pretty great. Sylvia, at 61 years old, I have to pace myself. Yeah, I hear you. But sometimes I feel like 45 years old, but today I'm feeling 61, laughing out loud. Thomas Henry, Wes, I agree. The rum was terrific. Best pina coladas we ever had. He must have been on that same trip once too. Jay Sonic, by the way, when your wife uses the microwave, it will mess up the Wi-Fi signal. If your modem is on the other side of your house and the microwave is in the middle, I guess it'll interfere. Maybe you had some interference lately. I think Jen was in the kitchen nuking up some tea or something. I'll have to tell her about that. Thank you, Jay Sonic. Kathy Butler, Scott Batchley, the censorship is real. Paul Wilgus, I like Dunkin' Donuts better than Tim Hortons. Well, Paul, whatever turns you on. A lot of folks in Canada, they swear by Starbucks over Timmy's. And then there's another chain in Canada called Second Cup. That's kind of a barista, like a Starbucks kind of place too, all Canadian, and they enjoy that more than Starbucks. And then there's the battles. A lot of folks in Canada say the best coffee, McDonald's. McDonald's has great coffee in Canada. So, like I said, there's no clear leader. Just the fact is, there are more Tim Hortons in Canada than McDonald's, more Tim Hortons than KFC's, more Timmy Hortons than Wendy's or Burger King. It's the #1 franchise in Canada for numbers. It's stunning. It's just stunning. They're everywhere. A lot of minor hockey league teams get sponsored by the local McDonald's franchisee, and there's a ton of loyalty for that. So, what can I say? Jay Sonic, that is why you had a signal problem. Buffering a bit about 10, 15 minutes ago. Cam Wilson, who's Timmy Horton? Timmy Horton was a hockey player, a defenseman, who played most of his career with the Toronto Maple Leafs during their glory years in the 60s, late 50s and 60s. Timmy Horton was one strong guy, tough as nails, had a Marine-type haircut during his prime. And then the last few years of his life in the 70s, he grew his hair out like all guys did in the 70s by then. He ended up playing in Buffalo for the Sabres when they first came into the league. And he created a little business. He needed a business to make some money on the off season rather than just live off of his hockey salary. Because in the 50s and 60s, these hockey players, they're making $40,000 a year, or $50,000 a year. They weren't making $1 million a year, nothing like that, or $10 million or anything like that. And I think he and another guy started a coffee and donut place. And they built like 4 or 5 of them in the Toronto area where he played. And his name recognition in Toronto made it so that it had a chance to grab a foothold. And they had a formula. They ended up with a formula where once they got to 6 or 10, 12 locations, they had to get centralized on their billing and how to run a franchise and a larger entity. And of course, economies of scale brought the pricing down, the costs down, boosting, hopefully, profits. And so by the time he died in 74, I think he had 65 plus locations by the time he passed away. And within a few years of him passing, the family, which was now running it anyway, they sold control of the company to a larger entity that could really take it to another level. And they sold for a lot of money. And they did have stock in the company still, but a minority position. And eventually, when Wendy's took it over, I don't know if the Tim Horton family had anything left in the business. If they did, it might have been a 0.5%, something very small. But yeah, it's an icon. But Timmy Horton is more famous for his donuts than his hockey playing. Yet he had a stellar career. I believe he's a Hall of Famer. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. Heather Young, anyone else? Video buffering. Exactly, Peter. Okay, whoops. Laugh out loud. Cam Wilson, you still going on a cruise next year? I expect to go on several. Cam Wilson, try refreshing, Heather. It's not buffering for me yet. Sounds like rallies and checkers drive-through. Never knew the microwave thing. Kathy saying, Cam Wilson, next month, Lisa, I'm going on the Sensation in June. Heather Young, okay, thank you. Might be Wi-Fi, BC weather, perhaps. Cool. Hopefully, if you guys reset your computers, everything will be good. Cross our fingers. Jay Sonic Hedgehog, Heather, video was buffering when Bruce's wife was using the microwave, but it's off right now. Jay Sonic Hedgehog, Kathy Butler, I taught you something. That's cool. Scott Brody, it's for the both of us for 4 different excursions. Oh, this is the $900 you spent in Alaska. For our upcoming Alaskan cruise, the White Rail Ray was $366 for the 2 of us alone. Wow, hopefully that's worth the money. That's big bucks. Heather Young, probably my weather, BC of rain. Thank you for answering. Jay Sonic, you're very welcome. Heather Young, 77, and rain in Kentucky, also in Kentucky. Rain in Virginia, rain in West Virginia. Pamplemousse, have you ever tried the hazelnut blend coffee at Panera Bread? Delicious. Do they have Panera Bread in Canada? Good question, Pamplemousse. I don't think so. I have a viewer or two from Ontario right now. I've got my buddy here in Montreal. Jay Sonic, is there a Panera Bread in Montreal? I'm not sure if Panera is in Canada yet. Kind of curious. But Pamplemousse, are you new to my channel? If you are, welcome. If you're a returning guest, I have a short memory. Welcome back. Iskew Park, video is clear and smooth here. Fantastic. Auntie Jane, you guys are making me hungry for donuts. Iskew Park, none in Thunder Bay. And Paul Willis saying, I love Panera. Kathy Butler, me too. Auntie Jane, all this food talk is making my tummy growl. Want me some of them there donuts. My goodness. And Jay Sonic, Panera, not in Montreal. So I don't think Panera is in Canada. It's U.S., probably U.S. based, and may only be in the U.S. for now. Eventually they may have them come on up. Jay Sonic, do you Pokemon Go? Kathy Butler's asking. Cam, mine too. Tommy Eaton back from Bahamas. Booked a cruise to Cozumel next May. Tommy Eaton, how was the Bahamas? Were you on a cruise? I thought you were. How was it? Did you enjoy your experience? Pamplemousse, I'm new. Welcome. This is great. Wendy Thompson, Panera in Rolla Moyam. Cal Wilson, welcome, Pample. Kathy Butler, for some reason, hazelnut coffee just stinks to me. It just doesn't work for her. Jay Sonic, Kathy, nope, a major Sonic, the Hedgehog fan. Tina Hote, hi, Bruce and all. Yes, we do have a Panera Bread, one in Mississauga and Oakville. We go there all the time. Okay, so they've infiltrated Canada in certain spots. I get you. Thank you, Tina, for that one. Thomas Henry, my wonderful wife, brought home Panera Bread items for dinner tonight. They have the best soups. There we go. Right on. Fantastic. Debbie Manuel, welcome, Pample. Kathy Butler, hi, Pample. You're being welcomed by everybody. Anybody new out there, say hi. You'll get welcomed into the clan right away. Scott Batchley, let's all meet and have a donut. Yeah, let's get together for a meet and greet and have a donut and a coffee. A large double or a large double with a Splenda, please. That's my my choice. Fantastic. All right, so here's my little spiel today for some info. Heather Parsons is here, by the way. Panera Bread is in Ontario. Thank you, Heather. Paul Wilgus just Googled, and there are quite a few in Ontario. So they've obviously started there, and they'll eventually branch out, I guess. Wendy Thompson, hi, PI. Fantastic. Kathy, I bet donuts on cruise ships are even tastier. Do they even have donuts on cruise ships? Do they really go through the bother of making donuts on cruise ships? You know the ones I love are the mini donuts. The ones they make at the fair. You know, you'll go to the Calgary Exhibition Stampede or a state fair, and they got those machines where they make them like 6 at a time, and you see them flip in the middle. They flip the other side, and they're in that oil, and then they come out the end, and then they put the sugar dusting on top, and maybe a little cinnamon on top of that. And then you get like 10 in a bag for like $2 or something. Oh, those are tasty, and they're still warm. Oh, those mini donuts. They're not fattening, thank God. You know, like they just melt in your mouth, and they don't affect you whatsoever. Oh my goodness. Wendy, hi, Pample. Tommy Eaton, we had a blast in Nassau, rained in Half Moon Cay, but made the best of it, best experience ever. Fantastic, Tommy. Jay Sonic, Bruce, you know why it's there? It's because Ontario reaches down to the U.S. Yeah, I believe so. Kathy Butler, yes, they have them on the buffet on Disney ships, but donuts. Richard C. Yes, cruise ships have homemade donuts just so good. Tommy Eaton, fair donuts are the best. Oh, yeah. Those mini donuts, man. Pamplemousse, thanks, everyone. Hello. Cam Wilson, they do have them on the cruise ships, Cam. Thomas Henry, the NCL butler brought us some pound cake that was so good. Never even thought about donuts. Paul Wilkes, I agree. Tommy J. Sonic, a pamplemousse. By the way, is grapefruit in French, but it's pamplemousse. Okay, thank you. Peter Heckema, I love the baked goods on the cruise ships. They are always freshly baked. Really enjoying the pastries. Yeah, they make. Oh, it's all just nothing stale on a cruise ship. When it comes to bread or buns or pastries, it's all made on board every day, 24/7. They're down there cranking that stuff out. It's incredible. It's a thing that a lot of people who've never been on a cruise don't understand, that you can't bring bread on board a cruise ship by the loaf before a cruise starts. If you want to do a 7-day cruise with 4,000 passengers and 1,500 crew members, you're talking 5,500 people that are looking for toast in the morning, or bread or buns or whatever. It's all baked on board. You bring the flour on board in 50-pound bags. You bring the sugar on board in massive 25-pound bags, and all the shortening and and the butter and everything else you need. But you bake it. You bake it on board. You cannot have loaves of bread for the 7th day when you start a cruise on day 1. You haven't got room to store it. You just don't have the room. But you can store thousands of pounds of flour and sugar and the butter and the milk and everything else you need to bake the bread. Yeah, as long as you got the oven going, look out, we're making bread. Love the baked goods. Everyone's welcoming everybody. All right, the story I had today about excursions had to do with a story I found regarding San Juan, Puerto Rico. There was a story today that I saw about San Juan, Puerto Rico, where 4 cruise ships came into port for visits in one day. That would be the Harmony of the Seas from Royal Caribbean. MSC Seaside came in. Carnival Magic, and Carnival Ecstasy came in. And the estimate was that 17,000 passengers came into port in one day. That was the good news story that I was reading here. And then the story went on to say that the economic impact for San Juan for the day would be $1.5 million. And I was thinking about that, going, well, how much is that? How much is that per person? Because I was kind of curious how this would work out. So I took the 17,000, I divided it out, and I came up with $85 a person. And I said to myself, that can't be right. It can't be right. That's too high. It's not too low. It's too high. How can that much money be spent on average for 17,000 passengers? Because typically when a cruise ship arrives into a port, even San Juan, not every single passenger is going to get off the ship. Maybe 90% will get off the ship. Maybe 80% will get off the ship. The other 10, 20, they'll stay on board and they'll enjoy the pool because it's quiet now. They'll be in the spa because it's quiet now. Or they'll only be on shore for an hour or two and then back on the ship. So if you want to get to $85 a person average, I got to figure that we're talking about maybe 14,000 people, 14 or 15,000 people, not 17,000 people, went on shore to spend some time. How much money did they each spend to get to this kind of number? Because I do go on shore. Cheers, by the way. I do go on shore with Jen, my Jennifer Aniston lookalike wife. But we won't take a cruise. We won't take a tour. We'll just walk around, like in the case of San Juan. We just go walk around downtown San Juan, and yeah, we ended up in a what is it? A pharmacy store, and I bought myself a big old bottle of caffeine-free Diet Coke to carry around with me because it's hot and humid in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We did look for some T-shirts or some knick-knack touristy things. We didn't find anything we wanted. Had we found a T-shirt, it would have been $15 or something like that. Nothing too expensive. My wife certainly wasn't looking to go shopping for anything expensive in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And then we did end up walking a block or two, and we ended up at a Burger King. Actually, just coming back to me now. And we went in there, we ordered a soda, a large caffeine or a Diet Coke, because you can't buy caffeine free. And we filled that mug up with ice at the machine there and topped it up. And then as we drank it inside the restaurant, which is air conditioned, we're cooling off, I was pouring the rest of my cola into this drink, because my cola was getting, not cold anymore. So I was cooling it off inside the ice and just finishing it up, threw the bottle away. And we then walked another hour and a half leisurely around, and we ended up at a Starbucks. And we went into the Starbucks, and we could use the Wi-Fi for free. And I felt like, well, I've had my caffeine-free cola. I want a Starbucks latte. Of course, I got a caffeine boost. Just driving my body crazy. So anyway, we added it all up, and sure, we bought a bottle of cola. We bought a drink at the Burger King, and we had a latte, and my wife had a tea at the Starbucks. So what did we spend? $15, $18. That was it. And then from there, we walked back to the ship, and from there into our room, changed out, and went to the spa. And Brucey had himself a lovely time in a very quiet spa area on the ship, which was the Explorer of the Seas. So I'm thinking to myself, well, if the average is $85, somebody had to have spent, because my wife and I spent not even $10 each. Someone had to have spent way more than that to make up the average, because we were supposed to have dropped $170, and we didn't. We dropped 20. So who's spending 100 and whatever more than the 170 they were supposed to spend? And there were thousands of us who didn't do all these tours. Now, they had the tours of the old fort, and they had golf outings, and they had maybe a charter fishing thing, or whatever the events are. They had all kinds of events. But I can't see 80% of the ship taking advantage of all those outings. I can see only maybe half the ship doing that. The other half, we just dropped in the port and enjoyed ourselves. So this number of $85 a passenger, I'm having trouble coming up with how to justify that. And this is specific to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now, the Alaska train ride, yeah, $366. I can see where those numbers are coming from, but they don't have train rides like that in Puerto Rico. Going on a golf outing for 4, yeah, you might be spending $100 each, $120 each, $150 each. I don't know. Maybe there you're dropping some coin. But a lot of folks there aren't a lot of folks doing that. Maybe there's 8, 10, 12, 16 golfers, not 1,000 people golfing on golf course. So I'm trying to figure out how does this work? Now, here's the other thing I read up on. The article went on to say that the annual revenue expected from cruise ship visits into San Juan, Puerto Rico was going to be $250 million. And that was going to be from a total of 1,700,000 guests. And I'm going, wait a minute. If you divide that number into that number, 1.7 million into 250 million, you come up with $147 a person, even more than the 85. How does that happen? There was no justification how these numbers were worked out. And this is where I'm sitting here going, something's not right with this picture. I do understand, though, there are ships that do use San Juan's harbor as the home port. And as such, there are people who fly into San Juan, Puerto Rico, stay in a hotel one night, get over to the cruise ship and go on a cruise. And they eat when they get there. They take a cab or rent a car maybe, and they're spending some money, right? But again, there's a lot of folks who come into San Juan on a cruise on the day of the cruise, which I don't recommend you do. They try to get there by noon and then get right to the ship and get on the ship and not even spend a dime on shore other than maybe a cab ride. And on the way out, the same thing. The cruise is over and they get off the ship and they go right to the airport and get out of Dodge. So this $147 number, I can't figure out. If all 1.7 million were using the port as a home port, I could see it making a little more sense, but that's not the case here. We're talking really about maybe, what are we talking about here? Probably 500,000 people using the home port, and 1.2 million are visitors for the day only. And so if day visitors spend $85 each on average, and those who use it as a home port spend more, they're going to have to spend way more than 147 to make up that number. And so I was throwing this around in my brain today. That's why I'm asking you guys, how much money do you spend when you go on an excursion? Whether whether you're walking around and enjoying yourselves on your own, or whether there's two couples that get together and say, we're renting a cab for the day and we're going to be in Cozumel, or we're going to go on a trip in Puerto Vallarta. Just take us around Puerto Vallarta for a day, and we're going to stop at one or two beachside bars for a couple of drinks and then continue on. There's no way you're spending that kind of money, because you're teaming up for the cab. You're buying drinks at local prices, not cruise ship prices. How does this number come out? That's what I wanted to know. So I'm kind of curious, folks. Does anyone out there have any thoughts on this topic, or am I just boring you to tears? I'm going to find out in just a second as I go back in time for my thing here. I'm catching up with my messages. Oh my goodness. Okay. Richard C. The bread and rolls are great, even in the morning for breakfast. Yum, can't wait to go on my Aussie cruise. Fantastic. Thomas Henry. Thomas, Bruce, how about a nice meet and greet cruise to Bermuda from Boston or New York City? I've never been to Bermuda. Thomas, that's low on my priority list. It really is. Getting on a cruise ship out of New York at certain times of the year is now off my radar, because I've been through the bomb cyclone as a passenger, leaving New York with my wife on the Explorer of the Seas, and I'm not doing that again. That's not happening a second time. I would far rather depart from a Florida port. If it includes Bermuda, maybe, but it's got to be Caribbean, really. But certain times of the year that you just don't want to be doing it. Jay Sonic was teasing Pamplemousse about the name, and Pamplemousse is saying no problem on that. But let's see, Jay Sonic. But the donuts, yum yum over there at the Majestic Regency Hotel. Jay Sonic is really pumping the quality of the donuts here in Maine. Cam Wilson, excursions. Peter Heckema, Bruce, does that include port fee? Good question. It might, it might. But again, if you're booking a 1-week cruise to the Caribbean, and it's say a balcony room, and you're spending $750, $800, whatever the fare was, your taxes and fees for the entire deal might have run you $100, $110. That might include 3 or 4 stops. So maybe $20, $30 is included in there. If that might help, right? That might help the average. It's certainly a way to guarantee the port city a bit of the action by charging a port fee. But $85 a person, I don't think so. If San Juan, Puerto Rico wanted to charge that kind of money per passenger, cruise ships will go elsewhere, because they don't have to go there. They'll drop that island so fast. Remember, Alaska, the state of Alaska, wanted to impose, I believe it was a $50 per person tax or port charge, state tax for cruise ship passengers. This was, they tried to implement this, might have been a decade ago. This is a while now. That didn't last long. They passed that bill in the legislature. The governor, I think, signed that bill. And the cruise lines were kind of going, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I wouldn't be doing that. And they went ahead and did it. They did it. They said to the cruise lines, screw you guys. We're charging you guys $50 a passenger that comes into Alaska. Wherever you're coming, one time you're going to pay $50. And guess what happened? Cancellations. Cruises just got canceled because cruise lines found the passengers canceled rooms. I'm not going to Alaska. I'm not paying $50 to visit Alaska from a cruise ship. That's a money grab. And within months, that deal died. That bill was rescinded, and there is no $50 per person tax to visit Alaska anymore. And why Alaska did it in the first place is beyond me, because look at the numbers today. Look at the numbers of people going to Alaska from Vancouver and Seattle on week-long cruises. The train ride we're talking about here, the zip line rides they have, the excursions that they're offering. Folks are spending so much money in Alaska. What is Alaska trying to do? Pull a fast one and put in a $50 tax on top of an individual let them pay $50 in taxes or profits to Alaskans who run businesses in Alaska to take care of these hundreds of thousands, if not millions of passengers. They don't vote. They don't really pollute that much, you know. They're not like, it's not like we're building factories in Alaska to house people. They're coming in, they're spending the day, and they're leaving. My goodness, it's a wonderful cash business. That's why no one port will dare try to charge an outrageous tax, because the cruise ships are going to go, we can go elsewhere. We can go anywhere on the planet. Why would we soak our people with this kind of money when you're trying to charge triple, quadruple, 5 times what any other port would want to charge us? But good point on the fee. That might be part of it. Thank you, Peter. Wendy Thompson, the Sweetwater Donuts in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Stop, find them. Yum. Wow, 4 ships in port. Was there room in the harbor? That would have been packed. Jay Sonic, per people. Kathy Butler, Thomas Henry, having a butler sounds lovely. Jay Sonic, pizza night tonight. Thomas Henry, Kathy, yep, and he brought tasty treats every day. The butler brought tasty treats every day, was so humble. We gave him $50 the first day, prepping him for a cabin crawl party I was hosting on day number 3. Thomas Henry, he did a wonderful job setting up the cabin with flutes, plates, and silverware, plus veggies and the cakes. I pre-ordered, and 5 bottles of the bubbly. Kathy wants to know what ship that was. Chevy and First is here. Hey, y'all, 128 days till my cruise. I bought a $100 Carnival card that will pay for my specialty lobster tail I'm going to add to my meal each night. $100 to get lobster tail every night on the cruise. Holy moly. Paul Wilgus, Jay Sonic, when I eat pizza, I want something sweet shortly afterwards, so donuts would work for me after pizza. Thomas Henry is saying it was the NCL Star. Chevy and First, my first cruise. I want lobster each night, and I'm worth it. Ha ha! Fantastic. Chevy, that's going to be a great time. Jay Sonic, oh, all right. Well, for me, it's drinking Diet Pepsi. Cam Wilson, that's right. Treat yourself. Richard C. Nice, Chevy and First. Have a fun time. Kathy Butler, lucky for me, I don't like lobster. Laugh out loud. Steak and potatoes for me. Thomas Henry, I even bought the cabin steward and butler a couple magnets at the ports. They were inexpensive, but brought a nice hug and a smile from those guys. Fantastic. Cam Wilson, for me, I'm going to treat myself to an excursion. Pamplemousse, maybe that figure also includes port fees the ship line pays to the local government. It could be Pamplemousse. It could be. Kathy Butler, Thomas, how thoughtful. That brings to mind, are there limitations on what cruise employees can accept from guests? Good question. The one thing I remember, a friend of mine, a real good buddy of mine, excuse me, his son was a dancer on Princess. He and his now wife were dancers on Princess. And I asked him one day, were you allowed to accept any kind of gifts, gratuities from passengers as a dancer? And he said, no, we weren't really allowed to accept tips. Like, you don't give dancers cash money. This is not like that kind of place. There might be certain establishments on shore where you can stuff $1 bills on a G-string, those kinds of dancers. But on cruise ships, no, you don't have to tip the dancers anything. However, he went on to say, we did have, on a number of occasions, we would have passengers that we would see and recognize from the last time they were on this particular ship, because they're on the ship 3 times a year every year. And a number of these folks were once performers themselves. Now, whether they were performers on cruise ships or dancers in Broadway or what have you. But he did go on to say that they did begin to befriend them from time to time. They would, they'd recognize them and say hello, and they would see them on the decks and would talk to them, in the deck area of the ship. And he said to me that there were several couples that were real fans, and that they insisted if they would go in, if they were in port the next day, and the dancers didn't have a rehearsal, they would take the entire troupe out for a bite to eat on land at their expense. And the kids would be allowed, the dancers would be allowed off the ship if they weren't didn't have to rehearse that day and and had the time to go. They'd be able to get off the ship for 3-4 hours. And this would be arranged weeks in advance. Emails would be sent back and forth between the husband and wife that were going to be on the ship and the dancers. And so it might be Puerto Vallarta, or it might be St. Thomas or wherever. And the deal is we're all going to get into a bus. They'll have arranged a taxi bus to get everybody up to the Ritz-Carlton whatever, and they'd head to the main dining room. And then this couple would treat them to a meal. And they would hang out with the dancers for like 2 hours. And it would be just a gab fest about, cruise life, dancing life. What are your plans for the future? What's your next contract going to be about? Where are you going to be? This kind of thing. So there would be a lot of that would go on, and that's kind of a gift. It's a gift. It's a a dinner and type thing, but it's not a it's not a bribe or here's $100 for you kind of thing. It's one of these. Just want to hang out with you guys. You guys are great, lots of fun, fantastic. My pal, who's like I said, whose son was a dancer. There was a cruise he took. He was a single on a cruise, and he booked a cruise. It was a repositioning cruise, and he booked a single fare. And his son, it was a full ship. It was packed, and through his son, he managed to get a room, and they got to check in. And I'm not sure how this broke down, but how it happened was that the father ended up not getting the room that they were thinking. The father ended up sharing accommodation with the son on the cruise ship in the crew quarters. And so he got to hang out with his boy downstairs. He got special permission passes. I don't know how it worked. And so he was with his kid down below with the gang. And when they would get to shore, the son would say, "Okay, Dad, we're all going to, there's a special place we love to go for beers. Whenever we get to this port, we go there because they've got, fish and chips or whatever the deal is. Plus they got great drinks." And so off they would go. And he said, "I learned stuff about the cruise business. I had no idea that what went on, and got to meet all the other fellow dancers and performers. He would meet the magicians. He met the singers. He met the actors, all the whole crew he got to meet. Then he got to, shown around down below. Dad, let me show you around. There's certain areas we can't go, certain areas we can go. Let me show you around a little bit." And he loved it. It was his most favorite cruise, and he delighted in telling me all kinds of stuff that was going on. Pretty cool stories. Thomas Henry, my excursions usually range from $89 to $159 a person per excursion. We had 6 excursions on one recent Star cruise, all helped by 2 $50 credits from Norwegian. Thomas Henry, I have read many tip posts, never had that one, Kathy. Most people are looking to reduce the tipping. Yeah. There's some who tip more, some who tip less. Richard C. In looks like in Agora, New Zealand, we will each spend $339 for a train ride in the countryside. A little pricey, but how often do you go to New Zealand, right? How often? Trip of a lifetime. Amortize it over 10 years. It's $39 a year, $33 a year. Keep the memory alive. Fantastic, Richard. Wendy Thompson, we got a all-day taxi tour for two pair new jeans in St. Thomas. A taxi tour and 2 pair of new jeans. Okay, so gotcha. You were in the cab all day and you end up with 2 pairs of blue jeans as well. Fantastic. Cam Wilson, you've been through a bomb cyclone. Was it scary? I've always wondered what it was like to cruise through a storm. It was bad. It was really bad. I didn't like it. I'll tell you that right now. I feel like it would just sleep through the whole time. I tell you right now, Cam, I wish I was asleep the whole time. I really do. I tried to sleep through as much of it as I could. It was very upsetting. The motion was rough. We were in an inside room. That was our one issue. I wish I had a balcony. I could at least looked out at it and tried to anticipate it or be mesmerized by the monster waves hitting the ship, because we heard them hit the ship. We felt them hit the ship. It was a rough about 30 hours. Thankfully, the remaining 8.5 days were fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And today, when we're told that we're going through 25, 30-foot waves, child's play 30-foot waves. Children can go through that. Come on. We went through worse, and 100-mile-an-hour winds, and it was bad. Yeah, I didn't eat for a day and a half. What a great diet that was. Let me tell you, I couldn't even drink my blessed caffeine-free. I couldn't drink this. This makes me burp. It settles my stomach. I couldn't even drink this stuff. Couldn't consume anything. I was on my side in bed the whole time and just praying for it to be over, and just would rather have slept through it. And I did get 2-hour segments, hour and a half, 2-hour segments of sleep, which is great because it helped pass the time. But it was a long 30 hours. Was happy about that. Kathy Butler, I was thinking actual gift, not a money tip for special. Yeah. It's very difficult to give a crew member a gift because they don't have any space to keep anything. So you can't give them, anything big. What can you give them? You can't give them like a Costco gift card, because if they're from Indonesia, they may not have a Costco. It does them no good. You want to give them a candle? Not a good idea. Give them can't give them a microwave. I mean, what do you give them, right? Do you buy them a T-shirt? Really? Do they really need a T-shirt when they're down below? They're living minimally down there because there's lack of space, and cash is king. I mean, cash is king for these people. They can send that home. They can send the money home to the family. It's a difference maker. It might get one of their children a birthday present that's coming up, or a couple of kids' birthday presents coming up while they're away. Something from dad or mom. That's the cash is king. Absolutely. Thomas Henry, I gave the cabin steward my Sonic Care toothbrush. Laugh out loud. Really? Are you kidding me? Jay Sonic, Thomas, did I hear Sonic? You sure did, Thomas Henry says. Sorry, I have a thing for Sonic, he's saying. Bruce knows. Mary T, I don't like going out of New York, and I live here. Carnival Horizon will be the second out of the 6 cruises out of New York. I go to Baltimore, or we have even gone down to Charleston. There you go. Try to get away from that nor'easters. They can be bad. Jay Sonic, but I won't go further in detail. Debbie Manuel, excursions in Alaska on upcoming cruise, highest paid to date. Train ride, gold penning, I think, and sled dogs, 6 hours, $254 each in Skagway. Big money. Yeah, I won't do that. That's just me though. I live up here, and it's not a novelty for me, so I just don't go for it. But to each his own. Mary, wait, can you explain that reason for not liking leaving New York? We've done it once and are scheduled again. What did I miss? Okay, well, the thing about New York is this. I love New York. Believe me, I love that town. But we took a cruise from Bayonne, New Jersey, down to the Caribbean. Now, we booked it, I don't know, 3 months before, 2 months before, whatever it was. And what you're hoping for, in our case, it was a winter getaway. So we were leaving in, I think it was March, and we were hoping for, it won't be too cold when we're in New York, and hopefully it won't be stormy. And we were in New York for 3 days prior to the cruise. And it was in the 40s the first day, the 50s the next day. And the day of the cruise, we were 62 degrees. Fantastic. This must have been February. It couldn't have been March. It must have been February. It was very nice for the time of year. And the water in New York Harbor was like glass. It was just stunning. The reflection of Manhattan off the water. Oh, beautiful. So we leave the harbor at 4 in the afternoon after the muster drill, and all is great. We had dinner that night. And of course, it's dark at 4:30. It's early dark days, right? And the captain comes on to the speaker system and says that through the evening, it's going to get a bit rough. We're coming through a storm system that's moving north to New York and to Boston, New England. And we're heading south, so we're going to go right through it, at 24 knots or in 25 miles an hour, maybe 30 miles an hour. and the storm is coming north, and so that'll cut down the amount of time it'll take to get through it. And I thought, well, it's in the evening, so we'll be asleep by the time we hit it, and hopefully, I'll just be gently rocked and sleep the whole night through, and in the morning, hopefully, we'll be through the worst of it. Didn't work out that way. We woke up at about 8 a.m. and we were really moving. It was not good. And my wife, Jen, had to go to the bathroom, and she had a tough time getting there because, arms out on the walls to get to the bathroom. And she said, this is not fun at all. She came right back into bed. And then it was my turn to attempt my number one. And same thing. Oh, I was hunched over. And oh, no, I got there. I sat on the toilet. I did what I had to do. And I worked my way back. And we thought, well, let's get up, and maybe we can walk to the middle of the ship, or in the middle area of the Explorer of the Seas has a big walkway, like a shopping mall kind of walkway in there. Why don't we go there and go to the middle of the ship and see if it's a little easier to take, and maybe I'll grab a coffee at the Starbucks or something. I didn't make it there. We barely got down the hallway. We got to the lobby where the stairs are. And conveniently placed in that lobby were these airplane bags. The kind of bag I'm talking about? I found one of those. I gave back whatever I had from last night. I had nothing from last night. I digested dinner last night. Oh, I didn't feel good. And back to the room we went. Oh, we didn't want to go anywhere. And so I went back and racked back into bed. I found that lying in bed on my left side, I felt better than if I laid on my right side, because on my left side, that helped with my digestive flow, I guess. I don't know. And for my equilibrium, I don't know. I could just lay in the bed and just suffer through it. But I couldn't even drink a sip of cola to help give me any kind of flavor in my mouth or any kind of hydration. Couldn't drink a thing, couldn't eat a thing, not a thing. So for the entire day, that whole day, we were in the room, and that entire night we were in the room. And it was the next morning we woke up, and we were through, at that point, we were about 85% through it, and we were down to 20-foot waves, and we were much better off. And that we then powered our way to the buffet at the back of the ship. They still had all the outdoor decks closed off as far as like the promenade deck is concerned. Couldn't go there. The pool deck you could go because they had these walls on the outside with the track on top. So the pool deck was about 20 feet down from the outside of the ship. So you could walk there, but the pools had netting across them, of course. And we walked through there, and I could see outside. That was the first time I could see it because we were in an inside room. We had no view, and it was ugly. It was nasty. But we made it to the buffet and got some tomato juice, salt in the tomato juice, and sipped that. Just sip. That's the first thing I tried. Went down okay. Had about half the glass. Then got a coffee and sipped on that a little bit. Had about half of that. And then I think I had a little bit of muesli, half a bowl of muesli, and ate that. It was okay. And I said to my wife, that's it. I won't stuff myself because I can't, and I don't want to chance it. So we'll keep it nice and light, and let's see how we do an hour or two from now. And sure enough, an hour or two later, I was hungry, and the ship was calming down, and we went back to the buffet because I couldn't see myself committing to sit at a restaurant for 2 hours or an hour trying to eat something. So I thought, I'll just nibble at the buffet. I'll grab a plate and I'll try a little this, little that, eat it. If I want more, and that's exactly what I did. And so that lunch went okay. And then by dinner time, it was all back to normal. We were fine. But talking to the passengers on that ship, there were veterans of 30, 40 cruises. Never had they experienced one like that before. Never had they experienced that. Nothing that bad. They'd been in bad stuff. They'd been on ships 30 years ago through bad weather. Nothing as bad as this one. And we're on a monster ship with 4,000 passengers, a stabilizer system, and we were getting tossed around. It was awful. So the New York experience is difficult. I wouldn't mind going out of New York in the summer, but in the winter, if there's a chance for a cyclone like that, not a chance do I want anything to do with it. And this year, we heard about the story of the folks getting caught in the bomb cyclone on the way back to New York. They were coming from Bermuda back to New York, and they were going with the storm. So they got it for 3 solid days or 2.5 solid days. And they were really upset with the cruise line because the cruise line's got to get that ship back on time. Got to get back on time. Got to get these people off. Got to get the next group on and go. And they went right through that storm in the middle of it, and they had no break until they got into New York Harbor. Just terrible. That's why I'm not interested in a winter cruise out of New York. Not this guy. Not once, but not twice. So that's my story about that. Sorry for those of you who've heard it before, but yeah. That's the deal. Auntie Jane, Thomas Henry, I want to be on a cabin cruise with you and everyone. Fantastic. Let's hope Bruce can make it happen. Auntie J, J Sonic, Lobster, Donuts, the Sonic, the Hedgehog. Oh my, laugh out loud. Thomas Henry, what does Sonic like to eat? I know Garfield likes lasagna. Peter Heckema, Bruce, maybe you become a dance. You can become a dance host. Free cruise, just like Lemon and Matthau. Eh? I wouldn't be any good at that. Sorry. Nope. It's Thomas Henry. My first cruise left New York. No problems at all. I bet you 19 out of 20, 20 out of 30, or 29 out of 30, 99 out of 100 are perfect. They go great. It's the one that you get that you don't ever want. And oh boy, we were on that ship and we knew there's no escape. We can't get off this thing. You know, can't get a helicopter to come and get me. We're done. We're on this baby. Oh, it was bad. Jay Sonic, Thomas, chili dogs, but for me, I call myself a hedgehog. Also in the furry world, I eat cheese casitas. He says, and I have 5 at a time. There you go. Lisa going, whoa. Jason, I have to pace myself since that's $30 each time, so I have to be careful, I guess. Philios R. Hey, Bruce, just joined in. Hope I haven't missed much. So great news. We both loved our first cruise on the seaside so much. We've just booked to go back for 2 weeks next year. I'm really glad to hear that. I know you sent me a message earlier on my channel, and I'm really glad you got a good cruise. This is fantastic. The price is right. You can't beat the deal. Absolutely, and I hope you enjoyed. Steam and Bean is here. Hey. Lisa Moore, 2 weeks now. Thomas Henry, hey, Bean, where you been? Steam and Bean been busy teaching those grade 5s, I think. Auntie Jane, Richard C., that area is beautiful, and I hope you have a wonderful time, and the weather is stunning for you all. This is Alaska, I believe. Steaming Bean, 58 more days for me. Debbie Manuel, wow, great news about the seaside. Philios R. Steaming Bean, why the devil does Bruce drink decaf a Diet Coke? Jeez Louise, why do you drink that stuff? It's simple. I love a latte in the morning to give myself a caffeine jolt to wake up. That's cool. But during the day, if I have like 3 of these for the whole day, and these are Diet Cokes, the amount of caffeine in a Diet Coke, you know how much there's in there? Tons. I'd be just bouncing off the walls. Don't you folks remember last week I was having chocolate cake and regular Diet Coke? Do you remember what happened to me on those live streams? I was bouncing off the walls. Can't have that. Got to keep Bruce calm. Got to keep Bruce calm. Stephen Bean, give the steward $20. He says, Mamie Heath, good evening. Just joining in, but you guys are scaring me. This is my first trip, and you guys are like, that one's like way up and down on that ship. Oh my goodness, no, don't know if I'm ready for a trip. Mimi, I just got to tell you that the odds of you getting caught in a nasty storm are very, very, very small indeed. Cruise ships, generally, if they can, they'll go around storm systems. In our case, we had to get the Labadee Haiti from New York in the 48-hour window that they had, because ships that leave New York in the winter, the first thing they want to do is go about 1,500 miles south as fast as they can to get to the warm weather, because you're not going to hang around New England in January, February, and March. Not a chance. And so the chance you're taking out of New York in that time frame a year is that you're going to run into a storm heading north while you're heading south. And even if it's a moderate system, the winds are 40 miles an hour and you're going 25 miles an hour. You got 65-mile-an-hour winds. I can tell you, the first day of a cruise out of New York, and even most of the second day, the pool's closed. It's an outdoor pool. You're not going to be in an outdoor pool in 50-degree weather with a 30-mile-an-hour wind. No way. So the first day or two, the cruise lines just make a beeline to head south as fast as they can to get out of the system. In our case, we ran into a winter blizzard that was heading up through. It hit Washington already. Now it was going to hit Philly. Then it went through up to Trenton, then into New York, and eventually Boston. And they got whacked. But we got it for 30 hours instead of 72 hours because we went through it rather than sitting in New York waiting for it to pass. And the ship wasn't going to do that. It wasn't going to sit there and wait for it to pass. We only had a 9-day cruise. And so it had to go, and it did. The ship had no problem with the waves, believe me. It was the humans on board that had the problem. But in your case, if you're going on a cruise shortly, you got nothing to worry about. You'll be just fine. Even if you're in the Caribbean and there's hurricane season, you're not going to be in a hurricane. The ships will divert completely around it, stay out in the Atlantic where it's calm, or they'll head towards Grand Cayman or Mexico. They will not put you in harm's way. So don't worry about that. But we all have stories. Philios, yeah, couldn't resist going with the spa package too. 350 days and counting, haha. And you must have had a good spa package on the ship. That must have been nice. Steaming Bean, this is the seaside. Steaming Bean, Mamie, the storms are like in February, no worries. Auntie Jane, Kia Ora Bean, Richard C. will be visiting Agora soon. Did you frequent that area? Jay Sonic, Kathy Butler, buy the new crew members a pack of gum each. Smiling. Steaming Bean, Auntie Jane, how's life? Auntie Jane, got the fire on, Bean. How about you? Bet you can't wait for your cruise. Lucky you, jealous much. Steaming Bean, I am frugal on the ship and on excursions. I buy a t-shirt, maybe a magnet, and that's about all I need. Kathy Butler, glad you had a great cruise, Filio. Steaming Bean, I am ready, Auntie Jake. Kids here are pretty hyper, so yes, the cruise is looking good. As a matter of fact, I had a bad day some weeks ago and booked a second cruise, 2019. Made me happy. Voila! Just knowing you're going to be on one can help. Steamer saying, rock me gently, rock me slowly. Take it easy. Don't you know that I've never been loved like this before? Auntie Jane, Bean, stop it. You're killing us. Cam Wilson is laughing. Steam & Bean, yes, my 2019 cruise is Anthem, like 10 nights. Anthem of the Seas, fantastic. Thomas Henry, Mamie, just be careful with the key card charges on your first cruise. We had too many items from the jewelry shop. Then on board, the onboard bill was approaching $10,000. We filled in the Norwegian Cruise Line MasterCard application. Oh my goodness. Be careful. Don't do that. Oh my gosh, Thomas, watch yourself. The Steaming Bean, I would never buy art on board. A big scam, he says. Auntie Jane, great stuff, Bean. I will be watching. Thomas Henry, Bean, what subject do you teach? Cam Wilson, I think Steaming said he taught lunch. Oh my goodness. I don't pre-read these. I just read them as I see them. He's teaching lunch. Oh man. He says grade 5. Lunch, laugh out loud. You love that one. Biscuit making. How to make the tastiest biscuits in the world. Oh man, Steamer, unbelievable. Maybe he thanks a lot, Steamer. Steam & Bean, Bruce lost weight on that cruise. I did. I got thinner before I got thicker. I'll tell you that. I made up for it at the end, though. I ate. Jay Sonic. You just hit it on the ball there, Bruce. Muesli is the best. Thomas Henry, I've been following picture posts of the Stars refit. Today's pics show the atrium completely gutted. Wow, they're doing a big deal there, Thomas. They really are. Mamie, thank you, guys. I needed to hear that. Yes, Mamie, it's all going to be good. You're going to be fine. It's going to be great. Bruce, Auntie Jane says, Bruce, they say to lay on your left side puts pressure on your heart and liver, so the right side sleeping position is better for digestion and sleep. I think that's what I read. I tell you, Auntie Jane, when I've had a little too much to eat, if I lay on my left side, I feel better. If I lay on my right side, I feel sick. I don't know why. Maybe my system's turned around inside. Maybe I've got a bizarro world innards. The bizarro world, all backwards. I don't know. Kathy Butler, I gotta go cook dinner. Nice to chat with you all. See you, Kathy. Thanks again for all your support. Steaming Bean, that is life with storms and the Atlantic. Cam Wilson, yep. What can we do? Laugh out loud. Steaming Bean, Mamie, those ships are like a wee cork in the middle of the ocean. Auntie Jane, Bean, you singing BJ Thomas, LOL parties, laugh out loud parties in New Zealand, haha. Steam & Bean laughing out loud. Jay Sonic, I have to go right now, Bruce. Have a super evening. You too, Jay Sonic. Steam & Bean is saying adios, Jay Sonic. Bye everyone from Jay Sonic. Debbie, Emmanuel, I like Bruce when he's all hyped up. So entertaining and animated. I love it. Stephen Bean, Bruce's eyes look buggy when he's all hyped up. What are you talking about all bugged up? Oh my God. No, Andy Kim, Bean, Andy Kim. Eddie Jane saying, Thomas Henry, second that one. Debbie, Pamela Jordan, goodbye all. See you next time. Great show. Thomas Henry, everything's backwards down here, isn't it? Team and Bean, I have to attend a barbecue fundraiser for the resource kids who are off on a field trip in June. You poor bugger. Hopefully you'll get some decent food there, Steamer. Wendy Thompson, bring on the chocolate cake. That's right. Bring on the chocolate cake. Bring on the caffeine laced cola and watch Bruce bounce off the walls all day long. Out of control. Oh my goodness. Unbelievable. See, on cruise ships, you can't get caffeine-free Diet Coke unless you use the fountain thing, and you got to buy that package. You go to the restaurant, they just bring you a can of caffeine regular Diet Coke. And so I try to bring my own caffeine-free with me. Otherwise, I'll be bouncing off the walls on the cruise ship. I don't want to be doing that. Oh, my goodness. Steamer, those kids are great. Oh, thank God for that. Thank God for that, Steamer. Well, there you go, folks. I think we covered a lot today. I know we covered a lot. Oh my goodness, did we cover a lot today? I hope you all enjoyed the show. How are we doing on the thumbs ups? I hadn't even looked. Anyone giving me thumbs ups today? I got 30 thumbs ups today. 2 down. Thank you for the 30 ups, you guys. Fantastic. Anyone hasn't been able to send me one, if you can, please do. Love to get the thumbs ups. You're watching the show after hours. Thumbs ups when you're watching after hours. Helps. It really helps with the analytics of the channel. Lifts it up in the search engines. We love that. Steam and Bean, number 31. Thank you, sir. Tomorrow, Saturday, I'll be on the air, 2 o'clock Eastern time. See what news is going on in the cruise world. Might have a couple of trivia questions, maybe not. All depends on how busy we are. Looking forward to having you pop by and say hi tomorrow. Any topics you want me to cover on cruising, let me know. I'll be happy to do that too. Last look, 1,981 subscribers on the way to 2,000. Thanks all of you who've become subscribers. Thanks to those of you who are considering joining in. Looking forward to hitting the big 2,000 not too long from now from the way it looks. Sonny Wallace now saying 35 thumbs ups now. Fantastic, you guys. Thank you so much. Way to go, everybody. Sylvia, that happened on my first cruise about 20 years ago from New York to Bermuda in October. It was horrible, and we went through some crazy storm, and it took 20 years to go back on a ship, but now I like to cruise. I like to cruise out. There you go. Yeah, the storms aren't fun. Believe me, they're not. They just aren't good. Steam and Bean, 37 thumbs ups you got now, buddy. Fantastic. Andy Jane, great to be here today. Bye all. Have a great weekend all. Kisses and crosses. Kiss. The crosses mean. I'm not sure what it means. I think it means something good. Thank you so much, darling. Thomas Henry, goodbye, everyone. Sonny Walls. Steeman has voted 5 times thumbs up. I think 1 down. You can only do 1 at a time. You can only do 1. But yeah. Thanks for all the thumbs ups, you guys. Thanks for all your support. Thank you for the contribution today, Tracy, and the that PayPal chat. That was fantastic today. And thanks for the super chat today, Jim. As always, I hope your physio's going okay. Stephen Bean laughing out loud. Have a great evening, everybody. Enjoy your weekend as it starts off tonight, and we'll see all of you hopefully tomorrow, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Tell your friends to join in. We'll have some fun then, and then we'll take a day off on Sunday. All right, guys. This is Bruce with Traveling with Bruce saying thanks for joining me today. Friday, May the 18th, 2018. Another good time. Enjoy the evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon Eastern. We'll see ya. Bye for now.